Call to order the Transportation Committee meeting of June 7th, 2022. Will we have a roll call, please?
Chaplin here. Dessart.
I'm here. Could you, I think you have to allow me to be in the meeting.
Roll call. After we do the roll call, I'll make the motion to add you is what I was told.
Gotcha. Thank you. I'm here.
Krajewski.
Here.
Ozak. Here. Pachelsky.
Here.
And Zay.
All right, we have a quorum. There's been a request to allow remote participation for members to start under Section 7A of the Open Meetings Act. And the Open Meetings Act says if a quorum is present, a member may be allowed to attend remotely if prevented because of a personal illness. And I believe that's the reason today. So I would like a motion to allow members to start to participate pursuant to 7A of the Open Meetings Act remotely. Motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we do have, now you're official, you could do that. Under Chairman's remarks, we have a lot going on, and I know we've been very active, and I just want to say that we have approximately 45 projects in phase 1, 2, or 3 engineering, and we promised the voters and elected that we'd be being active, and I just want to thank Chris for putting so much on his plate, and these projects are going to do nothing but benefit the residents of DuPage County. All right, we have no public comment. Now I have a motion to approve the minutes of the May 17th, 2022 meeting.
So moved.
Second. Motion is second. Any changes, alterations, or corrections? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is Agenda 6, procurement requisitions. I have a motion to approve 2022-56. It's a recommendation for approval of a contract to Hard Rock Concrete Cutters Inc. for the MPI sidewalk saw cutting as needed for a contract not to exceed $29,900. Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is DTP 0191-22, recommendation to approve a contract to AT&T Corp. to provide telecommunication services as needed for the Department of Transportation owned traffic signals for a contract not to exceed $40,000.
So moved. Second.
All right, motion is second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a DTP 0183-22, recommendation for approval of contract to Chicago Testing Laboratory Inc. for professional geotechnical and materials engineering services upon request of the Department of Transportation not to exceed $50,000. I have a motion, a second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a motion to a DTP 0184-22, recommendation to approve a contract to Secure Asphalt Materials LLC to furnish and deliver UPM bitumen coal patch as needed for a contract not to exceed $56,000.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is a motion to approve DTP 0183-22, recommendation to approve a contract to Parsons Transportation Group Inc. for the Central Signal System Network Support Services and Individual Transportation for a contract not to exceed $100,000.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is the motion to approve DTP 0186-22, recommendation for approval of contract with Systems Corporation for the construction engineering services for the central signal system expansion for a contract not to exceed $700,000.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. And lastly, motion to approve DTP 0187-22, recommendation for approval of contract to FGM Architects Inc. for professional architectural and engineering services of the replacement of the Department of Transportation Maintenance Building for a total contract not to exceed $1,664,622.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I did have a question about this one. You know, when I first got on this committee, I called Chris Snyder and bent his ear for a little bit. He educated me about transportation. And Chris, I believe you said that engineering is like 8 to 10% of any project. Is this $1,664,000? Is this just for engineering, or is this adding on to the total project? Or if not, what is the total cost of the project?
So this is for the complete replacement of our 140 building across the street. So
Right.
that building replacement to be on the order of 35 million. So this is to finish architectural plans, but also then to provide support in the construction phase as the selected or awarded contractor may have issues on requests for information, clarification of any of the architectural items. So it is for design as well as construction, some construction assistance. So it'll be a separate construction manager to be selected at a future date, which is kind of our owner's representative. But this is strictly for wrapping up the design and then being available to us in the next phase.
I appreciate you continuing to educate me. Thank you.
What was the building we're tearing down anyway?
1956, so about 20 years old. I'm kidding. I can't do the math, but it's like 50, 60 years old. Yeah, it's exceeded its useful life. It's been added on multiple times. It has a lot of needed repairs, so it'll be a modernization of the existing facility and expansion for, we have to still store quite a bit of our equipment outdoors sometimes, which isn't always the most favorable thing to do in this climate. And so we'll get a lot more indoor storage, as well as the ultimate goal is to marry our engineering and administrative staff with our maintenance staff. So move everybody on this side of the street to that side of the street.
Sounds good. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is agenda item 7, motion to approve change order 7A, was the change order to American Surveying and Engineering. It's for extension of a contract for right-of-way negotiation.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is change order 7D, was a change order DTP 0211-C19, amendment to a resolution issued to Civil Tech Engineering to provide professional preliminary engineering services to extend the contract date, increase the funding, $57,128.24, making the total cost $316,296.04. And this is added work not contemplated when they initially made this, correct?
Correct.
All right. Did I have a motion and second?
So move.
Second.
Second. Okay, Todd. Brian?
So Ogden's on IDOT road, are they participating?
Yes, so we have an agreement with them that they'll participate 50/50 in the cost with a not to exceed amount based on the original contract. So at this point, correct. So we'll have to look at updating that agreement to incorporate their additional 50%.
So so this is our 50%, they'll have to do the same thing.
In the interest of getting things moving, this is our 100%. And the hope is that IDOT will come through with the 50% because a lot of it has to do with things they're requesting us to do, particularly as it relates to Ogden Avenue.
But isn't this extension specifically an origin destination traffic study? It's nothing else, right?
It's to do an origin destination. So when cars go left, how many go right to cross or something.
Right.
But it's also because of the number of alternatives that we are having to go through. The intersection is seeing some new development in the one corner, a gas station that didn't exist before. So trying to
Yeah.
The
develop.
biggest issue is the Amazon thing down the street. There's blue trucks everywhere at that intersection. So if they approve their, I mean, the old, because this is an increase now, 50,000, but the, whatever, the $250,000 it was done, had they already approved their $250,000?
They approved their initial 50%. So it was a
Okay,
$250,000. They approved the 125. This is something, as we were looking at the contract and realized we had these alternatives, we started talking to our consultant
So
about.
that's right, so
getting this
down the road, they'll be.
We'll approach them.
You know,
for their 50%.
And crosses,
Destination traffic studies because of all the new construction that's here?
It's just trying to figure out, it's really, as people make a turn, how many are continuing to go straight?
Okay.
If you're familiar with that intersection, a lot of people turn left and then turn right across.
Yeah.
So we wanted to determine how many people were doing that. And then they turn left at Warrenville
sure,
Road.
right.
And then how many people from Cross make the right and then make a left.
Well, the
onto-
biggest one is just north of Finley with all the Amazon trucks, because
Yes.
there'll be sometimes at Shell Station, we'll have 12 of them sitting in line, either on their way out or come back, and they're all over that intersection.
Right.
And this is west of Finland.
A lot of the zigzag that we're talking about is west of Philly. It's no different. It's similar to what we have at County Farm at Winfield. To go north-south, you have to go east-west and then to the next street. So a lot of it was to follow those cars and determine where they end up and then evaluate alternatives because given the geometric improvements that ultimately are agreed upon, we want to be respectful of the development at the intersection as well.
Well, it's just south of the intersection, right, because the gas station on the one corner is already done, now it's this property to the south. is
Southeast,
got
yes.
something going up there.
Well, makes sense. All right, anybody have any other questions? Then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is 7C, was the change order to Gutierrez Inc. for an extension of a contract.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Finally, 7D, change order Red Wing Brands of America to decrease and close.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, next is item 8, any reports from our state's attorney?
Nothing this time, Mr. Chairman.
Anything under old business, boss?
Nothing under old.
How about new? You said it with some expectancy there.
I do have 2 items for new business. I do want to announce that effective this morning, a number of local 150 operators went on strike. This is primarily, doesn't affect any employees we have at the county. This is operators at many of the material supplier facilities, the aggregate quarries. So they're on strike. So will be meeting with my team to figure out what impact that has at this point in our construction season. It's still very early. We're not typically doing any asphalt work or something like that, but if this lingers and things get pushed, it's going to have an effect on schedule and availability of people for our projects. So more to come on that. Our hope is they settle quickly, and we'll see where that ends up. So that was.
Please keep us informed on that, because that's critical.
Yeah, that's effective this morning. Second thing I wanted to mention is cost increases. So we've seen it with just bidding of construction projects and the supply chain, and even some of just other things we purchase, widgets or whatever you want to call it. So snowplows, exactly. We're seeing escalations across our industry. One of the things that we do as part of our roadway projects to ensure a competitive or the most competitive bids, and it is allowed by the state of Illinois. They have 3 materials that they allow for escalation or adjustments, I'll say, during the contract. One is asphalt, one is fuel, and one is steel. We include those, it's a check sheet. It's at the contractor's discretion at the time of bidding whether they want to check that box. The price, the adjustment can both be positive and negative, okay? So for our annual pavement maintenance contract and a project we started 31st Street last year and some other ones this year, we included those. The bidding was competitive. They checked the boxes. Right now, those indices are based on, at the time we award a contract, whatever the price of fuel was the month before or asphalt compared to the price today. Based on those current indices for the projects I mentioned, we're looking potentially, if the projects were complete and they were to hand us an invoice, we're looking at about $600,000 increase for those projects.
What percentage?
So the pavement maintenance was 10 million and the 31st Street was 3 million. And so that's 13 million. So we're talking quick percent, 5. Brian, you're the accountant. It's a 5%, right? So 5 or 6%, and that's today. So if they don't pave until later this year and the prices continue to go up, this is just, I want to put you all on notice that we will be bringing through a budget transfer, a large budget transfer to cover these so we can pay our contractors, but also be bringing a change order ultimately to this committee and the board for a contract increase.
Vice Chair Rosa?
Is there a formula that's applied, CPI, something like that?
Yeah, so, right. So IDOT actually publishes each month the indice. Okay, so based on the tonnage of asphalt, then the price of liquid asphalt or the price of fuel. So when we bid things in February, the pricing was $3 and now it's up to 5 something. So it's $2 more. And then there's a formula you work it through based on to allow where those adjustments can be made. So as we sit here today, we're probably in the neighborhood again of around 600,000+, but that's a high level estimate.
Well, I'd rather hear the worst case analysis, so anything less.
Well, that's the worst case today.
Hopefully it doesn't get worse.
Well, you are already looking at ordering the salt
What's that?
for the winter.
Yeah, we've already bid it out,
That's
so we're
already
set
done.
for pricing, and
Well,
that's
you bid it out, the pricing said, but the question becomes, do they have it?
Yeah.
And
So-
I don't know what we got stored.
Yeah, well, usually we end the year with our domes full. We typically do that. And so our bidding was for taking delivery as early as, I don't know if it's October 1st or November 1st is the typical early first buy we might do. But again, if our domes are full, then we'll wait till later.
You know the municipalities have theirs full too? I know like a lot of them come under our contract, right?
They come under ours, and whether they're full already or they start full, I personally don't know.
Because we should check, we should check that too, just going down the road. If they're not full, they're full in theirs, if they're under our contract, we should just put it in there.
Yeah. So that's all the good news I have today.
All right, well, I'm told we do not have executive session, so that being said, without objection, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you made your meeting on time. So,
Off I go.